Now, it's the Gopher Coaches Show with Lindsey Whalen and Ben Johnson.
Welcome in to the Gopher Coaches Show. I'm Ahmad Hicks alongside K-Fans Justin Gaard and, of course, men's head basketball coach Ben Johnson. Coach, it's been a while since we've been up here on set together, and since that time, you guys picked up a huge road victory against the Buckeyes. But first, I want to talk about the all-access that we saw at home on TV. You were mic'd up, access in the locker room, behind the scenes. Where did that come about, and what does that exposure do for your program?
Yeah, it came about Steve Shear, who heads Fox and kind of their production department, approached us in Ohio State and asked if we'd be willing to do the All Access. And, you know, thankfully I'd been through it one time before as an assistant at Xavier, so I kind of knew what all went into that. But more importantly, I thought it was a great opportunity to showcase our program and to showcase and give fans kind of an inside look on, you know, what really goes on behind the scenes during a game in live action and, you know, everything that the players are going through, everything the coaching staff, everything myself. You get, you know, the officials involved, right. And it turned out to be obviously a very entertaining game that had a lot of drama at the end. So it was a great experience, but it was a platform to showcase our university and our program.
Every coach I've heard go through it say very publicly, awesome experience, glad we did it, never in a million years going to do it again. Do you make that same bold claim, or if Steve makes a call in July, you say, you know what, I might do it again. I might do it again.
I'd do it again. I don't know about next year. I don't know if we need to go back to back, but no, I think it was a great experience. I think, again, anytime you can put your program on a national stage like that is a good thing. So no, we'll definitely probably be in talks down the line with Steve to possibly do it again.
Now let's talk about that game. Dawson Garcia, what a night for him. Career high 28 points. We just had him on the set a couple of weeks ago where he was talking about taking his play to the next level. What did you see from your team in that win and how they were able to close out the games? Because we talked about earlier on how you guys couldn't close out some tough games.
Yeah, I thought the guys did a really good job from start to finish with great resolve. I mean, they knew going into a hostile environment on the road that there was going to be ups and downs, that we were going to hit adversity at some point, and I just thought their mental toughness really showed out that game. I thought our defense carried, and we really played a solid, 37 minutes of really good defense, and that always helps you when you can rely on your defense and know that that's going to carry and travel with you as a team. The offense was really a bonus, and guys had it going.
Looking back to over the weekend, you make the trip to Michigan, start out great, hit that lull that we've talked about towards the end of the first half there where you couldn't make a shot. Sometimes it's that easy, right? You made shots early. I think you were 9 of 14 at one point. I think you missed your next 7 or 8. Yeah. So did you like the shots you were getting? Kind of take us through that stretch and why it made it difficult against a pretty good Wolverines team.
Yeah, no, I did. Obviously, to get off to the start that we were able to get off to just builds confidence, and that really carried us through the remaining of the game. And so that was good to see, that the fact that like we flowed, we got the shots that we needed to, guys got to their spots, the ball was moving. For the most part, we took pretty good ones. So that was encouraging. And then again, yeah, we kind of hit that lull, and we've got to find our way and work our way out of that for those extended periods of time. And got a little bit of that too in the second half, which again, it just stalls kind of what you're trying to do, and it makes it harder. It puts that much more pressure on your defense when you're not able to score in stretches like that. So we'll look at the film more, and we'll talk about as a team of what we can do better to help our guys get over that hump.
Now, as you watch this film, you guys got out to a hot start, kind of like you alluded to. Dawson Garcia was one of those guys in Jamison battle, but then Dawson Garcia suffered an ankle injury in the second half. What did that do for your team, and what did that force you to do as a coach to kind of fill that void?
Yeah, no, that was a tough blow, obviously for him too, because he was really, into the game, just mentally. He had his stretches where he was scoring for us offensively, but his will to win that game was really strong. He had it going, and so it does. Your team sees that, and they kind of see that warrior go down. It takes a minute for them to regroup and get that confidence back. We had to make a couple adjustments with our lineup, but at the end of the day, that kind of is what it is, and we still have to be able to be tough enough to find a way to overcome whatever adversity it is, whether it's a score or whether it's an unfortunate injury, to be able to be successful.
We've talked a lot about all the freshmen on the radio show. I think this is only your second time here on TV, so we haven't gotten to everybody. But Joseph Ola Joseph, it's so funny. you basically said on the radio show, he's always going somewhere fast. We don't always know where he's going to go. He might not always know where he's going to go, but I love that he's so certain about it. So take us through his development a little bit. He's obviously continued to improve as this season has gone on.
Yes, Josh has taken full advantage of this opportunity, and it was interesting. I was joking with him before our game at Michigan, and I said, do you realize you started more games for me here than you did last year in high school, and you're playing more minutes in the Big Ten as a freshman than you did last year in high school. And my point to him was, don't overcomplicate it in your mind, and also understand that it's a process, and you can't get frustrated. And he has shown growth. I mean, from the beginning of the year till now, maybe not stuff that always the common fan will see, but from a coaching staff, the leaps and bounds he's taken on both sides of the ball have been huge. And I think a lot of that is just he's got a will to him. He's got a toughness to him. He's got a physicality to him. Defensively, he's grown so much in what we're trying to do to play competitive winning basketball. That's kind of the fun part about this journey and this process is you're seeing these guys slowly figure it out. And those guys are going to be huge pieces to our program. And so to get it early and to get that experience, both the good and the bad, I think only builds.
You talk to your players about it, but do you have to remind yourself about that as well?
I was going to ask him that, yeah.
That's what I always think about. It's like you want it now. You're a competitive dude, obviously. Your staff, very competitive. You want to go into Chrysler and win on Sunday, but do you have to remind yourself of that as well? I need to take a step back sometimes because these guys just got here.
Right. I think there's times where you do think about that. As much as we all want to win, and trust me, no one wants to win more than the players that put the time in and they're out there actually competing. And no one, wants to win more than the staff who prepares them and takes a lot of pride in what we do. At the same time, the reality is sometimes it's a process, and whatever you're trying to do, whether it's win, whether it's continue to win and not have lulls in seasons, growing pains are exactly that. Sometimes they can be painful. But when you have a winning group that loves to work and you've got talent that you believe in and a core group that you believe in and you know what you're doing and what you're coaching is the right way to go about sustaining success down the line, it's kind of a process that you're willing to go through. And again, the best thing to do is try to win through those as much as you can. But I'm more built on, within winning, developing that process the right way.
And speaking of growing pains, we kind of talked about this off camera, but the injuries to your team, it makes it kind of hard to practice. Braden Carrington out with an injury now for the next couple of weeks. How do you guys manage this moving forward?
Well, we had managers to help us, but then we had two managers go down too. So
that's the tough part. Even
that's
your
really
managers
tough.
are getting banged
We've had
it's trainers.
It's not comforting when you look over in practice and you see the two guys that are rehabbing that I knew about, and then you see two other managers that are also rehabbing knee injuries.
Right.
It's just, but it is what it is. No, it makes for you got to be creative, you got to be inventive. Mm-hmm. Get your staff a little bit of a workout in for practice so you get some bodies going. But I'm just more proud of our guys. They understood what it is, and they haven't batted an eye. They don't get caught up in who's able to go, who's not. They don't get caught up in some days we can't go 5-on-5. You got to be creative with getting your work in. They've been really focused on just the process of getting better, and whatever we ask them to do, they're doing it.
So we know when a player goes down, you always say next coach or next guy up. So when a manager goes down, like the other managers have to fill the void.
Step up.
Some coaches have to do conditioning drills now.
That's why we got
step up. Yeah.
Someone's got to step up. That's why we got 50 of them.
And stay ready so you don't have to get ready.
Stay ready so you don't have to get ready.
That applies
and it's
to the
funny,
managers?
you see the younger ones kind of foaming at the mouth a little bit.
They're ready.
And they're ready. And I'm telling our guys, look, this guy's ready.
Yeah.
Like, we all need to have that mentality of, okay, he's out, now it's an opportunity for me to step in and have a bigger role.
So what's the freshman manager do? What's the senior manager do compared to what the freshman manager does?
The biggest difference is just responsibility.
Yeah.
All right, so the freshman manager, it's very minimum. All right, the senior guys, like, whether it's stuff we bring on the road that we can't forget here,
right.
Like that's on the senior manager, that's on the
Uniforms.
head manager. Uniforms, video gear, flip chart, all the stuff that really, the bells and the whistles that are the oomph of what we're doing, that's on the older guys, because you can't forget that. The younger guys, it's more just making sure guys are there on time,
Yeah.
they know the schedule, little stuff like that until that trust is built. It's the same thing as players.
Checking the itinerary gets dicey, though. Like, time zones get in there.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
schedule's an important one.
Well,
I'm 40 years old. I'm paranoid about the time zones and being late for a bus and things like that.
Schedule is huge. And then when you get there, making sure guys understand what the schedule is when you're there and they understand where the meeting rooms are so they're on time.
Also important.
You know, making sure that I've learned as a coach, you never want to be there exactly at the time, because if you're there at the time and somebody's not, it's going to get in your head. So you conveniently are, a little bit late to make sure, hey, those managers got those guys there. So when you walk in, that's one less thing that you're mad about.
So moving forward, when you're picking your managers, do you have to pick some that can have ball skills and can shoot the ball now moving forward with the thought in mind that, you may need them down the line?
We're going to have to definitely revamp. I think, you're always trying to grow within your program. And so now it's a step. It's like you think you have everything covered, right? And then you realize when stuff happens, maybe you don't. So now this is all going to be part of the new process where maybe we have a manager tryout, and you got to see if you're athletic, if you're stable, if you're strong, if you're breakable. Probably not going to go that way anymore. We need able bodies.
You're going to get a full medical.
Yeah, we need a medical history. We need able bodies on the court.
Passive physical to be the
exactly.
manager.
Can't have guys tearing their knee.
Good move, by the way. Denny Green did not start meetings until Randy Moss was in the room, by the way, back in the day.
That's a good nugget from you.
Can't be late. Randy can't be late if the head coach is in
exactly.
there.
Coaching 101.
He knew where Randy was. Once Randy was in the meeting,
See, we're having all fun right now. If you're a Gopher student on campus right now, you're watching, go to the gym, get some shots up, get ready. Your time may be coming next year. Now, on the second side of this Coaches Show, we're going to be talking with one of the few upperclassmen on the Gophers roster. Talon Cooper is going to join the set next. So be sure to stick around for more Coaches Show with Ben Johnson. Welcome back to the Gopher Coaches Show. Ahmad Hicks, Justin Gaard, Ben Johnson, and Gopher upperclassman Talon Cooper. Let's talk about your big game versus Michigan. Double-double the other day, 15 points, 10 rebounds. For you, first time being able to go back home. Before we talk about the game, talk about how hard you had to recruit your teammates' tickets to hand out for everybody back home.
Man. It was real hard. I had to go around and ask everybody for their tickets. Some people had some family coming, so but it was kind of sorry to ask them.
Did you have to throw some incentives in, like, hey, if you give me your tickets, I'll give you a meal or something back home? Or?
No, I didn't do that.
Good teammates then. All right, Jay, go ahead.
Well, I think part of it is you're such a good distributor on the floor. You have your teammates back on the floor. You've got your 500th career assist now. It's always been a part of your game. We've talked about it just a couple of different times. A lot of point guards are just born. Is that how you rolled when you were a kid? I know Magic was a big influence on your family. Take us in when you realized, hey, I like passing the ball a little bit.
It started off as a young age. I was always been unselfish. My parents were like, "Tony, you need to score the ball a little more." I was like, "No, it's just who I am. I like passing the ball." But yeah, that's about it.
You've never heard of a parent telling a kid to shoot the ball more, right?
No.
Never. But how rare is it, or how nice is it to have a guy who is low maintenance about his own points, maybe isn't necessarily worried about all of that? As a coach, I have to imagine you appreciate that.
You do. It's also nice because a person in his position who has the ball a lot, they have to be able to do multiple things. It can't just be about himself and getting up shots. I think you look at programs that are successful and are built to be successful, it starts with the leadership at the point position and kind of the disposition that person has. And if their attitude is that of one of, others and getting people involved, not always the guy that eats first, I think that develops a healthy offensive culture.
For you playing on this team, what are some of the challenges that present themselves when you're upperclassman and you have so many younger players on your roster and you're trying to get them up to speed about what the Big Ten Conference is like, what the grueling schedule is like, to prepare your body after a game and get prepared for the next game? So what do you have on your plate each and every week as an upperclassman?
Just make sure I'm bringing it every day to practice, being that leader, talking to guys, telling them that details really matter when it comes to big games like this in the Big Ten. Yeah.
So what are you telling the young guys right now? Going through the skid that you're going through, had a big win versus Ohio State, followed that up with 3 straight losses. What's your message as an upperclassman?
My message would be to just be everyday guys. We got to just come in every day knowing, what coach is telling us is going to work, because it clearly worked against Ohio State. Like I said earlier, just details. Details mean everything to us. So just coming in every day and just bringing it every day to practice.
Take us back to the Ohio State game. You're at the line. Coach had just called a timeout. We got to see it all on All Access. That was great. That was wonderful. So I guess I saw most of it, but I couldn't get in your head. So you're at the line, just had the drive, got the foul, missed the first. What are you thinking about all those fans cheering against you and everything that goes into that?
It's something that you think, dream of as a kid growing up. And to be honest, everybody's like talking about how Ben was talking to me. Like at that point, I just blacked out. Like, I was out of it at that point, and then Jenkins pulled me to the side. I was like, "This is what you're here for," and I was like, "Okay, I got to make this free throw."
Well, you know, that was one of your 19th win at Ohio State in 74 attempts. So now you'll be able to tell all your kids and your grandkids that you were one of the Gophers teams to take them down. Moving forward, what does this team need to do to make themselves a threat in the conference? Because I know you guys are at the bottom right now, but I'm sure that doesn't matter to you because you still have 12 games and you have to finish the season out strong.
Our last game, our defense was really well. Just gotta keep our defense is gonna lead to our offense, you know. So offensively, we just gotta keep scoring the ball. Can't go droughts like 5 minutes without scoring. But defense is gonna win these games.
So Ahmad mentioned you had all those people in the crowd from Michigan. It's how old we are. When I think Michigan, I think Fab Five. He's like, I grew up with them too, right? And he's thinking about the 2013 national championship game. I'm like, oh yeah, Trey Burke.
The guy coaching was who we were thinking.
Yeah,
about.
exactly right, Juwan Howard. But what was it like to have all the family there? Like, who was there? Who'd you get to go see after? That's one of the cool parts after the game that I don't think people see. Win or lose, the people that all of you have supporting you that come out on the road, or in this case, drove a couple of miles to watch. Who are the important people in your life that got to check you out?
I had a lot of cousins on my dad's side, my uncles, my aunties, my grandma. She came to the game also. But my people on my dad's side of the family never got to see me play basketball ever. Yeah. So that was their first time actually seeing me playing basketball. So it was pretty big.
What does that mean to you for your family to go to college, have a scholarship, play big-time Division I basketball, and then for them to get to see you play for the first time ever in your home state? Like, what does that mean? What were the conversations like after the game ended? You guys, didn't get the win that you wanted, but I'm sure your family was still thrilled about everything.
Yeah, it was just thrilled to see me play at Michigan. Growing up, it's just being around Michigan, that's all you hear about, and just being able to go there and play was just really exciting.
Then we talked about the recruiting of Dawson Garcia. You watched him across the street here at a team camp, rubber floor, whole bit. Transfer portal is where he found Talon. So take us through the recruiting process for him when his name pops. I know you guys were fired up to get him.
Yeah, no, we were. Transfer portal is obviously different because you can never see the guys live.
Yeah.
So it's all film-based, So we watched a ton of film. You try to watch as many high-major opponents as you can. You make a bunch of phone calls to just double-check to make sure what you're seeing is what either guys in the league or different teams that they played against saw too. And then you get on the phone and you want to get to know them as a person, as a man, and what they're about and what he was about, and to make sure that it meshed with our team and our program. And it was a piece that we couldn't get wrong. We obviously had Peyton last year that we lost, and there was a lot of experience there.
Right.
So we had to find a guy that could bring that experience and leadership and maturity as much or more important than even the production, as wild as that sounds, because we knew we had we have younger guys or guys that were new to our program. And so it had to be somebody that had shouldered the load before.
What was the process like for you, Talon, on the other side of the phone, trying to learn more about Minnesota and obviously Ben Johnson?
It's just like another recruiting process, just getting to know what they do with their guards, stuff like that. But it was good. It was good conversation.
Final question that we have for you before we have to go to break. Biggest joy of being a Gopher and playing in the conference that you grew up loving and watching?
Biggest joy being a Gopher, just representing the state, representing what's across my chest, and growing up, Big Ten. I don't know, just being able to play against all the other teams, I guess.
Yeah. All right. Well, you got a lot of kids watching you right now, watching the Gophers, and hoping one day that they can soon be in your shoes. Talon Cooper joining the set with us. We appreciate his time. Now, stick around. We have more Gopher Coaches Show coming up, and we're going to talk about the conference schedule as the Gopher season winds down. Welcome back in. Ahmad, Hicks, Justin Gaard, Ben Johnson. Coach, tough schedule coming up, but I feel like every game in your conference is very, very tough. Indiana 0-2 versus them last year. What are you guys going to need to do to get over that hump this week?
Indiana's obviously playing really good basketball right now. They're back getting healthy a little bit. Veteran team, so we know we've got to be on our A game. That's both offensively and defensively. If we can keep our defensive momentum and then correct some things offensively, those lows where we're not able to put the ball in the basket, I think we'll be okay. But it definitely starts with our defense. We got to maintain that defensive mindset and that defensive mentality.
I remember a game at the barn. It was a young Daniel Laturu going up against a younger Trace Jackson Davis. Daniel feels like has been gone for like a decade. Yeah. Trace is still in Bloomington, playing really well, okay? He's one of the older guys that you talk about, maybe the focal point of their team. So what's the challenge playing against him?
Yeah, there's a lot, you know. One, he's got unbelievable experience. He's a savvy player. He's got a really good IQ, really good feel, incredible athlete, powerful. The game has slowed down for him. So now he's able to make decisions with the pass, which, you know, previous years you could double him and it was kind of iffy, whereas now he's able to pick you apart with the pass. And then I think they do a great job of they throw it inside to him. So you're always being challenged with whether it's crowd, your doubles, your rotations out of it. So he's obviously the focal point. There's no doubt about it. We got to make sure we do a great job, whether it's man or zone, you know, having containment and not letting them go crazy.
All right, quick thoughts. Northwestern on Saturday. What do you need to do to finish the week 2-0? And how hard is that going to be for you?
Yeah, I think, you know, our mindset is always the day-to-day.
Okay.
And so the same stuff that we're working on today to prepare for Indiana is the same stuff we need to build on for games coming up.
All right. Well, that's men's head basketball coach Ben Johnson discussing the upcoming conference schedule. That's Justin Gaard. I'm Ahmad Hicks. Thank you all for joining us. And be sure we'll be right back here next week, same time, same place, with more Gopher Coaches Show.